Hey everybody, Marcos Villegas here, being joined with a very special guest, boxing's only undisputed champion in current right now, Miss Cecilia Braekhus, the First Lady. Thank you so much for joining us. It's really exciting for me to get to talk to you. Been trying to track you down the whole week, to be honest, and we finally got you here. You're in Las Vegas. Welcome to Vegas.
Thank you.
And, let's get right to it. Like I mentioned, boxing's only undisputed champion. For you, what does it really mean to not only have that title, because there's only been so few people that could claim that they've been that, but also being a woman to hold that distinction as well?
How it is. Well, of course, I'm extremely proud of it, and I love my belt with everything. I work very hard to defend my belts at all time, at all cost, and I have a great fan base in Norway, my hometown, and my home country, and in Europe, who has been, lifting me up, and in ups and downs, they've always been there, and I appreciate that so much, and I have so much to thank to them for. Now I feel it's a little bit more time to, look further. I do have 5 belts. I am undefeated. I think it's time to go a little bit more globally and see what's outside Europe, because in Europe we have been very lucky where female boxing has really got the chance to be shown on television networks. We've been very lucky to have promoters to promote us, and I hope that this will continue also in America, in the States, which are now luckily and are starting to look to women boxing and female boxing also. Mexico, Latin America, Europe has always been there, but we need America and the United States of America to be like, that's the heart of boxing, and for women boxing, female boxing to really thrive, it has to also come here.
What do you think is the reason why the women in MMA have gotten so much more attention than the women in boxing here in the United States? Because you mentioned globally, it seems that women's boxing is on the rise. You got Katie Taylor, but over here too as well, you're seeing Claressa Shields getting a lot of attention. Christina Hammer is getting a lot of attention over here as well. So what do you think happened, like where the attention is not as much here? Like, what do you think is the reason behind that?
Well, I think definitely a lot of it comes from the MMA. MMA was a new sport. The UFC from very early on, they took on the girls, they promoted them, they put on the same effort in promotion like they did in the guys and in the men, and that is unheard of in professional boxing until now. Now recently we have beginning to see this in the names and the fights that you just mentioned, and also another something else is the Olympics, that the women was able to compete in the Olympic sport for the first time I think it was in London. So these two combined makes it easier to persuade the promoters and television to put on female fights in the United States.
How does it make you feel? Do you, in one sense, think like it's about time, but also do you think too, like, man, I wish I would have gotten into boxing like now as opposed to when you got into boxing?
No. You know what? I get to experience female boxing and fighting from 2 different sides. When I started to box, it was unheard of for girls to box where I came from. And it was really tough years in the beginning, but I'm so lucky because I grew so much and I got so strong and so tough out of that. I wouldn't change that for anything. Today, I can, with joy, look at the girls fighting in the Olympics and getting more attentions and means from the sponsors, from the promoters. And it's just with big, great joy I see this development that happened over the last 10 years.
No, it certainly has been a big development. You're the primary reason why boxing's legal in your country. Yes. That's something where you could say, years from now that you help grow the sport globally as well. In terms of fighting here in the U.S., you have a big following in Europe, but how soon are you going to come over here? And do you think, being here for the rest of your career is something you have to do?
Well, I had 1 week now because I wanted to see how the market is. I want to get to learn the people in boxing over here, and I want to start to understand the mentality over here. And
So what do you think so far? What are your initial thoughts so far?
well, I just have to say I have been so well received. I am so...
You're like the unicorn for us, because no, for real, because we hear of you and we keep hearing that this only undisputed champion, and we only see you like on Instagram or on YouTube and stuff like that. So when we get to see you in person, it's kind of like, oh wow, there she is.
I'm sorry. I get so embarrassed. I never been called a unicorn before. Thank you.
It's the mythical of all creatures. You're up there, the rarest, the rarest of the rare.
Well, my impression is that things are going the right way, definitely, but there's still some work to do. Yes, definitely. But I have the feeling that this is the right time to come over here and get some fights and do it, and also hopefully put it on American television. I believe that is a big possibility for 2018. That is the feeling I am having after this week, and having meetings and meeting the both sides, the boxing side, the television side, the promotion side. That is the feeling that this is the right time to do it. So I will go home to Norway. I will think a little bit. I will let all this sink in, and I will decide what to do next.
Well, I can't wait for that when you do decide. Looking at you, it's crazy. You're 30-something-0, undefeated, 32-0, right? No, I wasn't gonna say that. No. I was gonna say, looking at you,
I thought you was talking about my age.
No. I was gonna say, looking at you, you being a professional fighter, I don't see any scars, any cuts on your face at all. Like nothing at all. It's crazy. I'll give you a minute, yeah.
I thought you was going to mention my name. A little bit, my age. I'm a little bit touchy about my age.
I would never do that. No. I look older than you. I look old, so.
How old are you?
Let's not. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm 34. Yeah, but I got all these grays right here.
You actually.
Well, you look older than me, so you got good genetics. That's for sure.
Okay. What were we talking about?
That's a good question. Oh, you have no cuts, no scars, nothing at all on your face.
Well, I think that comes out of the German school. Mm-hmm. I was 7 years in Germany. I was the first girl to sign up with Sauerland Promotion at a point where they were very reluctant to do women boxing. And I was the only girl in a gym with 10 guys. There were Arthur Abraham, there were Marco Hook, there were all the world champions, European champions. I was the only girl, and I was fighting for my life to get attention, to get, everything. And easy, I was building this fundamental and is that the right?
Fundamentals.
Yes. And I got a fan base, I got my TV time, and the rest is history. So, but back to the trainings, the school the German school under Uli Wegner, the legendary German coach, was very hard. Get up in the morning, 7 o'clock, out in the snow, run 1 hour, back in the gym, do the training there. And it was from the old German times, from DDR, where you have the West Berlin and the West Germany and East Germany, and you have a lot of coach from the East Germany. It was a very brutal training regime. That was still a little bit in our training at that point. And was hard training, a lot of training, and a lot of the style was a lot of defense and mechanism, and it was good. Because I didn't got so much beating, but it also was a little bit. How do you say it in English? It also maybe the boxing. Maybe I couldn't really flourish with the boxing the way I wanted to do. Something I have done with my new coach, Jonathan Banks. So the German school is definitely a lot of defense style, and then with Jonathan Banks, my new trainer, there is the American way. You know, we want knockouts. I want them to go down before the last round. It's just a whole nother mentality. And so basically, I have the best from the German school and the best from the American school now, and we're putting that together, and it's had worked pretty well.
That's going to benefit you a lot having him as a coach. He's a very solid, very good coach. He's coached a lot of good opponents. You got me excited the other day. You want to know why? Because I saw a picture with you and Cris Cyborg.
Yes.
And Cris Cyborg doesn't live too far away from us over here. She trains at the Ruka gym. How did all that happen? Because Cris has hinted that she is interested in doing boxing, but she has this big fight against Holly Holm. But I'm just kind of curious how the dots connected there with you and her.
Well, the first interaction we had was on Twitter. She said she was talking about boxing, about this and that, and I said, "Okay, let's meet." And
Just hey, let's meet up.
Meet in the ring. You had the Mayweather-McGregor thing going on. You know, there's a huge fences around that, and I said, "Okay, when the guys are doing, why cannot we do it?" So, okay, let's make the female version of McGregor.
Oh, so you reached out for a fight, not even to meet her. Oh, you wanted hey, let's fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Wait, so she invited you over to just chat, even though you said no, we should fight.
yeah.
Okay, all right. How did that go?
I think she knows I'm very big fan of her. I'm very respectful of her. I am extremely all female fighters, and she especially. You know, I have so much respect for the work she does. But we are both professionals, and I can say, you know what, I'm a huge fan of you. I admire what you're doing, but I still want to meet you in a ring. And she was intrigued, and she. When she heard that I was going over to do this week in US, she invited me to her gym and to talk more about this. And my feeling is that this is something that can happen.
Next year, 2019.
Well, it is, of course, to get the biggest fight. This is female fighting, male fighting, it doesn't matter. To get the biggest fight, it is always a lot of dots that needs to be connected. And it will not happen in my next fight, but it can definitely happen 2018, beginning of 2019.
Well, she has a big fight, too, that she has to win. And it's a tough fight against Holly Holm, who was a professional boxer. You were supposed to fight her, yes, I believe, at some point. So what do you make of that matchup with their two styles? Because you have Cyborg that comes forward, and you got Holly that can counterpunch and can move around.
Well, I did. I think this will be a very interesting fight. This will be a huge fight for female. I love this. I love this, and I will be there also. I love this matchup. I think there are two different fighters and boxers. I think in this fight it is all about the mental part. If you can stick to your game plan, and if Cyborg will not rush Holly Holm and run after her, or if Holly Holm can get her defense style, you know, this is all about who keeps the coolest head. So this will be quite a chess game, I think. I love it. I'm looking so much forward to it.
Do you think it favors a certain person or the other?
Well, I hope Cyborg wins, of course, because I want to fight Cyborg next year, and I don't want her to come into the fight with a loss against Holly Holm. And I know Holly Holm doesn't want to meet me in the ring. I honestly believe if it wasn't for me, she would still be doing boxing fights next to MMA. So I do hope Cyborg will pull this one off.
What do you make of how she fights and what she shows in terms of her style? And do you think she could be maybe one of the few that would translate well into boxing given her technique?
I saw her against Claressa Shield. They did some sparring. Yeah. I was impressed. Yeah. I was really impressed. Of course, there was a lot of brawling in that particular video clip, but I was actually impressed that she was standing good, and she hit Claressa with some shots, and they were really going at it. And she's definitely not afraid. That is one thing. I think she's the kind of person that when she puts herself a goal, she will do anything to reach that, and she will do anything to be ready and 100% give her all.
When I saw the sparring, I know Claressa is, I think, maybe 2 weight classes above her weight. I think Clarissa's at middleweight, and Cris is at 145 in the UFC. But when I saw it too, I was like, oh wow, she's doing well. She's landing her punches as well. And I think out of all the people that I've seen, I think she's probably the only one that could probably do well in boxing, I feel, with the skills that she has.
Me too. And when I met her at the gym, she was so physically, she is so fit. She always trained. She always in shape. And she's so professional from everything, what she does in the gym to what she, eats, to her mentality. And you can just feel it when you get inside the gym and you talk to her team. And I was... I was very impressed by her and her gym and her whole team. It was very, very nice for them to meet me and invite me in.
Hopefully we get the fight, you and her, in 2018, but you still have to fight. You have to defend the titles. When are you going to do that, and where do you think it's going to be?
Well, I have a long career, and I have had so many huge fights. And right now, I just going for the biggest fight, the biggest arenas, the biggest. It needs to give me something outside. Not only financially, but also it makes me wanted to do this, make me go into training camp for 2 months, and give my all. So there's some different things. We have the mandatory, Layla McCarter. I think that can be a very interesting fight. I think Layla is a great fighter. She's the veteran, but she is still a top-notch fighter. We need to build her up a little bit because she's not so known outside Las Vegas that I would like her to be. I think a good idea would maybe do 2 shows on Showtime or on a K2 promotion show where I fight and she fights, and we can build up the fights and we can meet each other maybe before or after the summer, into a big clash between Europe and America. So that is one option. The other options, I love to fight the winner of Hammer and Claressa. Hammer, the weight is no problem with her. Claressa she's a little bit higher in weight, so she needs to go down quite a bit, and I need to go. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cyborg, of course, we are working on. Who else? That's what is so amazing right now in female boxing. There
a lot of options.
So many ways to go. I could also drop down. You have 1 pound for pound best in weight division under. You have. What's her name? The very beautiful girl from Costa Rica, gorgeous Hannah Gabriel. Yeah. She's promised me a fight long time ago. She has not stick to her word. So let's see if she would do that. But like I say, right now I feel like I'm on top of the world. I have 5 belts. I'm #1 pound for pound in the Ring magazine. I can relax. I can just see what the best options are for me and for the fans and for women boxing to push forward.
It's good to be the queen, huh? Right? You got all these options. You got, you pretty much, you can pick and choose what you want to do. I know you get asked this a lot because I've been seeing some of the interviews that you did this week, but the incident you were involved in with the kiss.
Oh, God.
I know. You said, oh, God. Everyone's asked it, but how did you stay so composed? Because I've seen that happen with other fighters on the male side, and they flip out and they punch the opponent, and the fight either gets called off or it causes a lot of things. So how were you able to keep your composure, and what was going on through your mind when that happened?
Well, that's actually a little bit funny that you mention it, because in Norway I'm actually I'm promoting my own shows in Norway under my own company. So with that in my head, I knew that if I would knock her out at the weigh-in, I would lose a lot of money.
You couldn't pay yourself.
I couldn't say anyone.
You're like, okay, no. This needs to keep. I need to pay everybody.
Wait till Saturday. Wait till Saturday.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
What was going on through your mind though, too? When did you have an inkling that she was going to do that?
No, I was extremely surprised. This was the last thing I had imagined coming. An earthquake would be more. I would welcome an earthquake more. It was not very pleasant. It was not very romantic or any any. It was just. I think it was a little bit rude. And right there and then, there was a press, there was a lot of media there. It was so much happening. So I just, okay, I have to finish up this press conference. I have to go. I have to get ready for my fight. But after, when I came back to the hotel, I was really angry. I was really, really angry. When everything settled down and I got to think about it and see this, I was pissed.
How pissed? Like the most you've ever been?
Yeah, like so pissed. Like, yeah, you saw it on Saturday, how pissed I was. I don't normally go for the knockout. I love boxing, 10 rounds or knockout, doesn't matter. I just love being in the ring, but I wanted to knock her out.
She have fresh breath, though, at least? Did her breath kind of smelled?
No, I don't want to be disrespectful, I just,
It's one of those odd things that so many odd things happen in boxing, though. But you never get prepared for something like that.
I've been in boxing like, oh my God, for a long, long time. I'm like a grandmother in boxing, and I have seen almost everything, from Arthur Abraham broke his jaw to this, to that, to everything. I've seen anything and everything, but this actually took me by surprise. And I have to say it to Mikaela because she wanted to do this. And in the Nordic countries, in Europe, all the girls there, they know that I'm very mentally strong. And that is my biggest advantage. That's my biggest advantage. And everybody is trying to everything is doing everything and anything to put me off. And it hasn't been any success until now. And she did that. So she's a fighter, and she just tried to get some kind of advantage of the fight, and I had to give it to her. She actually put me off there but it was for like 2 minutes.
Just 2 minutes. That's it. I got composed right after. Cecilia, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. It was great chatting with you, and hopefully we see you in the ring. By chance, just quickly, do you have a certain date already, like around some time, or it's just still kind of working, bubbling up?
No. Like I said, now I had this week here, and wow, I have done so much this week, unbelievable. Every day has been full, and I could probably do twice as much, but I am only one person, so I will go home, I will let everything sink in, and then I will make my decisions. The only thing I can say right now is I will be in the ring before the summer.
All right. Cecilia, thank you so much. It's great meeting you.
Thank you.
Boxing's only undisputed champion in current right now. Cecilia Braekhus here in Las Vegas. I'm Marcos Vegas. Thanking you all for watching us over here at Fight Up TV.